White Sox Podcast, coming to you live from Studio A of our CHGO offices here in the West Loop of Chicago. I'm your host, Sean Anderson. Alongside me, the normal CHGO White Sox crew. That's Vinnie Duber. You can follow him at Vinnie Duber. He's our CHGO White Sox beat writer. And the man in the middle is Herb Lawrence.
Hello.
You can follow him at Ecknerwall23. He's our CHGO White Sox community leader. Did I introduce myself?
No.
Oh, I'm Sean Anderson. You can follow me at Sean_W_Anderson. You can follow the show at CHGO_White Sox. We're being produced today by Sarah.
Hi.
Hello, Sarah. Sarah had a great question that led to apparently a rousing discussion. The White Sox, and it sent Twitter into a frenzy because at first it was just the White Sox have agreed to a contract with outfielder Brett Phillips. And everyone started to panic, just like Herb was, that the word minor league contract wasn't added, but then Daryl Van Schouwen added that it was a minor league deal. So we'll be talking about the Brett Phillips minor league deal.
We will? We talk about minor league signings a lot here?
Apparently, Herb thinks that he's going to be the starting right fielder for the White Sox.
Not starting right fielder.
And then we're going to
play a lot.
Oh, boy. And then we'll jump into our diehard mailbag from our CHGO diehards. You can join the diehard program over at allchgo.com. When you sign up, you get a shirt, you get a nice sticker pack, you get a nice membership card. It all comes in that lovely box. And you get access to our CHGO Discord where one day a week, we hope it's Monday. We didn't have a show on Monday. We open up the mailbag. We'll do that today. But Herb,
hello.
Why are you so worried about Brett Phillips?
Not worried about it. I'm just...
He can't play 10 games for the White Sox in 2024?
No. Have you seen his batting average? He is not a good baseball player. He's got a great clubhouse guy. I've only heard great glowing things about Brett Phillips and his personality, and I've seen it on display. He seems like a very gregarious guy, and it's going to break up the clubhouse a little bit. I'm sure Nicky loves him, Nicky Lopez, but it's another former Royal on the team for the White Sox. I just don't. I mean, it's a minor league deal in the grand scheme of things, but I do believe that he will be on this team and he'll play way more than he should be playing.
Why?
Because this is what the White Sox do. They sign these players that are like Jake Marisnick last.
He played 9 games.
That's way too much.
Name one Jake Marisnick moment. He had 2 at-bats.
You're constantly asking for depth. Here's depth. I didn't say it was good, but here it is.
Yes, I want good.
I mean, they signed. I mean, nobody was all PO'd and saying Sky was falling when they signed Billy Hamilton. That guy can't hit.
No, he can't, but he has a skill set that is very, very valuable.
This guy plays really good defense and steals bases sometimes.
I don't know if he plays really good defense. He plays all right defense.
He's also on the Charlotte Knights.
Well, that's my thing. Is like
but we don't have a right fielder right now, and so Brett Phillips is in the mix with Gavin Sheets, Oscar Colas right now, and Romy Gonzalez if they want to put him in right field.
He's fourth.
Yeah. If the season, if like,
who's the actual right fielder out of that?
Gavin Sheets.
Well, today.
Stop it.
You asking about today
You're
or
asking
eventually?
today.
Ugh.
Gavin Sheets. That's your answer.
Well, but guess what?
I'm not. Of course, I told you that this whole offseason.
But they're
that's not my choice.
80 some days from opening day, so you don't have to worry about that
84.
right now. You know, I mean, seriously, like, come on. If you think they're signing Brett Phillips to be part of their major league outfield mix, that would seem silly. There would need to be some significant injuries to players they haven't even signed yet.
I should bookmark this. Like when we're in July and Brett Phillips is playing a bunch. Like,
okay, so what is a bunch? How did Jake Marisnick hurt you last year?
He played.
How many games?
I don't know.
9
just
games.
told you 9.
Yeah, 9 games.
Still.
He had 2 at-bats. Billy Hamilton had 2 at-bats. They also had Victor Reyes, who was on a minor league contract. He didn't see the 101-loss White Sox. I love you. Brett Phillips is not going to haunt your dreams. Brett Phillips is not going to hurt you people.
And as I
said
before,
he might play.
The White Sox don't get the benefit of the doubt from minor league signings. Especially since they don't have an actual right fielder on their roster.
Herb, when
currently.
you say that, you're somehow like accusing them of secretly signing him to be their everyday right fielder.
No, they're not. But I'm saying like they don't have
benefit of the doubt.
They don't have the actual depth or the player that's, hey, we're gonna be the right fielder. Brett Phillips will be a minor leaguer because
They don't have that yet. The offseason's not over.
As I said, when's the last time we had a right fielder?
But they have gone and gotten guys to play right field. They weren't good, very good.
Yeah.
But the point being that they weren't like, oh boy, we're gonna fool you, Herb. We're signing this guy to play right field so this minor league guy can come up and play in right field for the rest of the year. Like that's not some sort of like secret plot.
No, that's not a secret plot, but I'm just saying they haven't seen and prioritized right field as a position, which it really is very valuable for the White Sox. And all the players that they signed who are hitters can't hit. Like literally all of them, either via trade or signing, they're terrible hitters. So this is just another signing. And yes, they have 2 months to get everything together. And even into spring training, they can sign a person. But like I said before, I don't think that they are serious about going and signing a guy like they should in Teoscar Hernandez. And we're talking about maybe Tommy Pham. I wouldn't like it, but that's an actual right fielder.
So, like, I in a way get your point, but, like, they haven't – I don't understand who you're trying to refer to as the minor leaguer that they like, tried to force off as a right fielder. Like, Colas was a minor leaguer before he was a major leaguer. Most players are. But – like, he was also a top prospect, and it seemed like it wasn't the biggest jump for Colas to be their opening day right fielder last year. They went out and got a major leaguer in A.J. Pollock the year before, and then he ended up playing right field, and, you know, I get that, but, like, Gavin Sheets and Andrew Vaughn were still getting at-bats in 2022 no matter what. It wasn't crazy that those guys were the right fielder. They did a poor job filling in that position, absolutely. Then Adam Eaton, major leaguer guy. He sucked, but that's different. 2020, it was Nomar Mazara, which was a trade for a minor leaguer.
All of these things were failed experiments, but they were experiments of guys who were like established major league hitters.
But none of them were good.
Well, that's fine. But you're going after them for signing a minor league caliber player to a minor league contract.
A.J. Pollock and Adam Eaton were good.
No.
They, at some point in their career, yes. I'm not saying they were good with the White Sox. Yes,
at some point in their career, they were good.
Right, but they were better than Brett Phillips. I guess that's the point. And hey, Matt Cortese brings up Brian Goodwin. Brian Goodwin has shown that he's a Brett Phillips, a Victor Reyes, a Jake Marisnick. I love Brian Goodwin. He had that great moment, but like he hasn't really bounced back and been on a major league team since.
I believe Brian Goodwin, minor league deal, if memory serves.
Was he?
I believe so. After the Pirates cut him, maybe?
I don't know. Let me look that up. He's currently with the Long Island Ducks.
Quack, quack.
Minor league contract, May 4th,
there you go.
2021.
Called
but that's in the year. That's an in the year signing. You know, he was released within the season, so that wasn't an off-season acquisition. I get your point. And let's go to Jared's first question. Again, these are from our CHGO diehards. You can join at allchgo.com. He added you, Vinny.
He did. I saw this, and I knew you were going to put it in here, so that's why I didn't answer. Because Jared, buddy, I'm going to answer it for you now.
There you go. That's the point. And this one does say Mailbag Monday. That's my B. I did also make some that said Mailbag Someday, which I thought was because it's
clever.
Thank you, clever. Jared writes, if the White Sox are actually trying to compete as was stated before the season, why are they signing almost all guys with around or below 200 batting average? And that's from Jared, Chicago White Sox. Thank you, Jared, for being a diehard and for sending in the question. So, Vinny, since this was added at you first, do you want to rephrase the question?
Well, here, Sarah, would you mind putting that back up so I can see it? You don't have to put it on the main screen, but I would like to see it again if you could. But I think what we've got here is maybe I would probably throw the question out and explain what's going on. I don't think the White Sox stated before the offseason began that they were trying to compete for 2024. And I think that's kind of what I and so many other people have been frustrated by not knowing, right? Is that what they did was they did not commit to not competing, I guess, if that makes sense, right? I mean, the closest thing we heard to a firm thing on this was Rick Hahn at the trade deadline saying contention in 2024 is viable, and 3 weeks later he got fired. So I think the White Sox are showing you rather than telling you that they don't intend to contend for the AL Central title in 2024 because of the fact that they're signing all these guys who do not do very much to improve them offensively or do not do much to improve their chances overall in a dramatic fashion. I understand there was the whole turn it around as quickly as possible thing that Nate brings up in the comments. That was why Jerry said he hired Chris Getz over looking for an outside candidate. But as quickly as possible does not mean a few months. It means as quickly as possible. And I think maybe Folks can be frustrated about that, but it was not a guarantee. I heard Chris Getz to make this team contend for the AL Central title in 2024. He did not say that. So the question maybe is not, why are the White Sox going back on what they said by signing all of these types of players? It's, hey, the White Sox are signing all of these types of players, and that's maybe explaining why they didn't commit to saying we're going to contend in 2024.
Let me read the Jerry quote, because maybe we can explain the Jerry quote to maybe what he was trying to say.
Or what we can lawyer away him saying. Right.
Yeah. One of the things I owe the fans is to get better as fast as we can possibly get better. Speed is of the essence. I don't want this to be a long-term proposition. When I started thinking about the speed that I owe the fans, I realized that if you bring someone in from the outside, it's going to take him a year. He's going to have to evaluate everybody in the organization. I could bring Branch Rickey in if he was available, and he'd have to evaluate everybody. So you lose a year. So is Jerry already understanding that 2024 is a lost year because you are making the changes that are this significant in a front office? So what he's saying is, if I was bringing someone in from the outside, we wouldn't be competitive even in 2025. Chris can make the most impact right away. He's not saying they're losing to all of 2024 because he wouldn't do that. But if we could read between the lines, is Jerry knowing that 2024 is a lost year? Because so far it does seem like, again, who the hell have they added? What the hell is the plan? It seems like the plan is they're probably going to suck.
I think what Jerry's saying there, I know what Jerry is saying there is, had they have done what everybody, or what a lot of White Sox fans hoped that they would have done, and had this big, long search for the outside candidate that they could pick up, it would take a year longer to turn things around than had he just promoted Chris Getz, which is what he did. That doesn't necessarily mean Chris Getz is here, he's going to do it right away. It means he's going to do it a year quicker than somebody else would have. And remember, too, what we keep doing with the whole hair splitting of rebuild, retool, whatever, the last rebuilding project, in my evaluation of it, took 7 years, and it didn't work. 7 years is a long time. For Jerry, who is 87 years old, as he often points out, he doesn't have as much time left as a lot of us do. He is not probably willing to wait another 7 years for a plan to come together. And so I think the reason they don't use the word rebuild is because they don't want to remind folks of the 7 years that Rick Hahn spent rebuilding this team. They're hoping they can get it done in 2 or 3 or much fewer than 7. And so I think that when, because there was another quote from that same day where he is just like, we are not going to tear it down. I have no appetite for doing that kind of thing, because he just sat through it 7 years. It didn't work. To tear it all down again might take another 7 years. So I think, yes, he thinks that Chris Getz is going to get it done, quote, as quickly as possible, but as quickly as possible might be 3 years, 4 years, as long as it's not 1 year more than that, which is what he estimated it would take somebody from the outside.
Yeah, and I agree with you. They're just averse to using the word rebuild, but we all know it is. And what we talked about yesterday, the whole show was about Dylan Cease being traded and what teams he could be traded to. And so that signals to me a huge rebuild. And so what's the elephant in the room, Sean? The elephant in the room is
the AL Central sucking.
Exactly. And so he can maybe still think that this team in 2024 can compete for AL Central championship while still doing what they're doing with this roster that they have. Just signing people who are, lower than what you expect a team that will be competing for the AL Central, even though, yes, they haven't said that. But these underwhelming moves might work out for the White Sox eventually. I'm thinking that they think that. But, yes, this is 100% a rebuild, and especially once they trade Dylan Cease, which is very likely. And, yes, it might not take 7 years, but I don't see it going faster than 5 because they don't have any real people coming up necessarily on the horizon.
They have a small number, but not a lot.
Yeah, I mean, You can get a nice package for Dylan Cease, but I don't think that turns your roster over that quickly. Remember, the the first rebuild, it was 2 solid players in Chris Sale and Jose Quintana that set that up.
And Adam Eaton.
That set it up for the future.
And they had Luis Robert Jr. I mean, that's not even a trade. Like, they had to go make that international signing and get a superstar like that. And as we know, superstars like that are very few and far between.
And so they don't have that. They don't have what they had back in that other rebuild. So it might take longer for this rebuild to work. I'm thinking they're betting on it taking shorter time, but you don't have the resources and or the players currently on the roster or the wherewithal to sign players when you do get to the top of level, when you're ready to supplement the places that you need to, like right field or second base or even catcher.
Sorry, I got distracted because apparently Chad Kuhl also signed a minor league contract.
But that was a long time ago,
watch yourself.
I think it was over break. I think it was December 29th.
I'm just seeing it.
I think it was just announced.
Are you okay with that one?
It's Chad Kuhl, former Pirate. I don't know if he was a former Royal, though.
It's just Brett Phillips. No, not a former Royal. Pirate, Rocky, and National.
What's that guy we had a couple of years ago? It was a former Pirate that had the filthy slider. It's just the same deal.
Yeah.
Oh,
He was
Kyle
hurt all
Crick.
year.
My
Kyle
guy,
Crick.
Kyle
Yeah,
Crick.
right.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Go get Kyle Crick. Oh, it's a little different. He's interesting. I'll talk about Chad Kuhl just for a second. He missed 2019 because of Tommy John, and then he's kind of bounced around, never really hit his top velocity after Tommy John, but he got released from the Nationals on June 26, cleared waivers, and then stepped away from baseball for the remainder of 2023. His wife, 17 weeks ago, just finished chemo, so he stepped away to help her with her battle. So, I mean, that's
admirable.
At least that's cool to see him coming back to her finishing her treatment and him coming back to baseball. So
and then we have
that's a good story to root for.
Similar things with Max Stassi, where he was hurt all 2023, but also had family issues where he's taking care of that. So it's good. It's a good story. I hope he makes the team.
Let's take a quick break. Then we'll continue this discussion about the future of the Sox. We'll also talk about what will consist of an emergency podcast. Because we haven't done that yet, and I think that's a good bit. All right, we want to let you know about our friends that are trying to make the world a better place. Our friends over at ComEd are making it easier for businesses to switch to electric vehicles. It's obviously something we can all get behind for the health of the planet and for the well-being of all of us, like Vinny and Herb and me and Sarah, who share it.
That's correct, Sean. The electric grid is evolving to meet your cleaner energy needs as we all move with confidence toward an electric tomorrow. Whether you have one delivery van or a whole fleet of shipping trucks, ComEd can help guide you to make the changes that make sense.
So what should business owners do?
That's a great question, Sean. They should go to ComEd.com/clean to learn more about the resources, fleet rebates, and infrastructure incentives available to help businesses go electric. If you own a business, don't wait. Start making your plan today to switch to electric vehicles. They're good for business, good for the planet, good for all of us. Go to ComEd.com/clean.
You forgot to point on the U.
I'll do 2 points tomorrow.
Did you forget to point and say ComEd.com/clean?
Well, I did say ComEd.com/clean. Go now and see how going electric connects us to a better way of doing business and a better future for generations to come.
Are you guys ready to sing?
Yes.
3, 2, 1.
588-2300 Empire
Today. With Empire Today, you get shop at home convenience, the right products for your needs, quick and professional installation, and a very, very catchy jingle, along with a low price guarantee. Empire Today is the best place to get new flooring. So, of course, they have copycats, but Empire can't be beaten on quality, service, speed, and jingles. So competitors advertise low-quality products and bad jingles that Empire simply won't carry. Empire won't promise the lowest prices because anyone who does that is putting flooring in your home that they wouldn't put in theirs. Empire keeps shopping for floors simple with a curated product selection. They're not going to overwhelm you. They're going to help you find what you need because their selection, again, is very fine-combed. They're going to give you the best of the best, and you can look at the best of the best with their virtual floor designer. It's a great way to see how new floors will look in any space. It's easy. Just snap a picture and instantly see how new floors will look in your room. So schedule a free in-home estimate today. All listeners can receive a $350 off discount when they use promo code CHGO. Again, schedule a free in-home estimate today. All listeners can receive a $350 off discount when they use promo code CHGO. Restrictions apply. See empiretoday.com/CHGO for details. All right, so now that the Chad Kuhl thing is off of our docket, Sarah got worried after Jared shared the tweet about Brett Phillips coming to a deal with the White Sox in our Slack, and I, in all caps, said emergency pod. So, Sarah, how worried were you when you did see that?
I was pretty worried. I wasn't prepared. I wasn't even like ready to go to work at all this morning. And so I was kind of like, oh, and I knew I was assigned to you guys today too. So I was like, I'm probably have to do that. But then obviously I'm kind of you've been doing it the last couple of weeks now where you're writing emergency pod for every like Sox minor league players. So I kind of connected the dots and I was like, I don't think he's serious.
No, I usually am not being serious. But for Sarah's sake, since she has been our producer for most of the offseason, why don't we discuss what would constitute a emergency pod? What would get Sarah to actually have to worry? Because if you see any tweet saying the White Sox signed somebody, it's mostly not an earth-shaking move. So if you hear any of these moves, this would put our alarms even up for emergency pod. Cody Bellinger?
Yes.
I'd be shocked. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's not going to happen. But yes.
I don't think I'd make the emergency pod because I think I'd be dead. I think I would be just comatose and out of commission because there's no way in hell that's happening. A medium average annual value of $24 million. No way. Jorge Soler?
I'd say yes.
Royal.
I would say yes.
Because here's the thing, too. You've got to think about, you were joking earlier, and he might be on your list, so spoiler alert, but Tommy Pham, you were joking earlier, would that warrant it? And I think, like, the idea behind an emergency pod is, like, people want to hear about it. And so, like, it should go to describe the condition of the White Sox offseason to this point that even White Sox fans don't really want to hear necessarily about the players that they're signing. To me, it would be just a person that White Sox fans would want to hear more about.
If the White Sox signed Harrison Bader to a 1-year, $10 million deal.
No.
Because the Mets already did.
Yeah,
That's
I know. Probably not.
No.
Really?
No.
I feel like Harrison Bader doesn't get the love, but Tommy Pham does.
Maybe.
Okay, tell me if you have an objection.
Also, too, it depends on this time of the schedule. Like we had the Aaron Bummer trade happened at like 11 o'clock in the morning, maybe we would have done an emergency pod on Aaron Bummer, but it happened at 11 o'clock at night, and we were like,
Well, and I did an emergency space, and I woke up my wife. So there you go. All right, so just tell me no. I'll start naming names, and then when I hit a name, say no. So Soler.
Yes.
No, just say no.
God damn it.
Duvall.
No.
Adam Duvall is going to make the same amount of money as Tommy Pham.
No.
He had more WAR than Tommy Pham last year.
Okay.
What is just because Tommy Pham hit a guy, smacked somebody in Cincinnati? People know him.
World Series too.
I feel like he's got more of a runway too. You know, I feel like
older.
Tommy Pham is older than Adam Duvall.
Yes.
How old is Tommy Pham?
36.
That's surprising.
Adam Duvall's 35.
How old would you have guessed Tommy Pham is?
I would think he's 33.
Yeah, see, I would think that he would be more like, oh, maybe Tommy Pham could be here for a while.
Now I'm thinking about it. He played with the Cardinals, the Rays, the Padres, Mets, and Diamondbacks, so he has to be old.
I think he played on the 2006 team. 2014. It was a joke. Teoscar.
Yes.
Herbert. Yeah, I know.
Now.
I knew you were going to say yes.
Come on.
Michael A. Taylor?
No.
No?
No.
2 years, $14 million.
I would be happy as hell if they got Michael A. Taylor because he can glove it.
So you wouldn't emergency pod it?
No. That's not a emergency pod person.
Peyton Lowry saying Big Hurt comes out of retirement and comes back from the dead to show Fox News that he isn't dead. But also Peyton said his dad is hoping, or their dad, I don't know if it's a he, their dad is longing for a Whit Merrifield signing. So for Peyton's dad, would we do an emergency pod for Whit Merrifield?
I think Whit Merrifield, given the lead up, would probably have to be a yes.
Yeah, I think so too. Like reluctantly.
Because of me?
Well, you've pushed it, but I mean, I think just the idea that we've been hearing his name for a while now, and then White Sox fans latched on to the idea of like, oh, he's coming, he's going to be here. So like, I think we'd have to do one for Whit Merrifield.
So Michael A. Taylor, Jorge Soler and Whit Merrifield, yeses. Michael A. Taylor, even though he's a former Royal, is a no.
No.
That's interesting. Michael A. Taylor, young. He's 33. He's Tommy Pham's age.
Young.
Hey, now that's how old I am.
Hey, he's younger than Tommy Pham. Joey Gallo?
No.
Okay, all right, that's fine.
I would be happy though.
Travis Jankowski, Aaron Hicks.
No.
Randall Grichuk.
No.
Jock.
No.
Okay, and then everyone else: Rafael Ortega, Brian Anderson, Robbie Grossman. Will say no. You know who's not even on this list? Brett Phillips. Brett Phillips is actually below Trace Thompson. So that is who the equivalent to them signing. They basically signed Trace Thompson.
Though I'll say this, Trace Thompson played a lot last year.
He did.
It's true. But they also couldn't cut him. There was no reason to cut him.
Is he still on the team?
No, he's gone.
No, he's signed with another team.
Yeah,
he'll be back.
I think he had an option.
I think he had a minor league deal with another team.
He'll be back for a fourth time.
Maybe, just maybe. All right, so yeah, I think we accomplished something there.
You showed
if that helps. Whit Merrifield is basically the name that you're looking at for, Sarah.
If anybody out there who's watching and or listening has a person and disagrees with our reasoning for emergency podcast, you guys are the ones who are watching. You guys are the ones who would be broadcasting to. If you really think that we would break on air and talk about Michael A. Taylor, come on now.
Well, I don't know. I think Jared would appreciate that. Who wrote it? Our diehards would love an emergency podcast reaction.
Well, then there you go.
To Michael A. Taylor.
To me, that is way more important than the caliber of free agent they are.
All right.
But Michael A. Taylor would be a weird signing, though.
He's already on another team, isn't he?
He's a center fielder. He's
a
pretty
free
good.
agent.
I thought he signed. Didn't we talk about him signing a few weeks ago?
No, that was a guy I liked for them to sign.
Oh, okay.
I was talking why it would be a good thing if they signed Michael.
Oh,
A.
yeah.
Taylor.
I don't think they're going to sign Michael A. Taylor.
But he's not a right fielder.
Right.
That's the thing.
They have a Gold Glove caliber center fielder already.
I mean,
that's
I'm
fair,
sure he can play right field quite well.
I mean, they are trying to improve the defense, and
But
what would improve the defense? Somebody who's good at fielding.
But that is not a right field bat. Where you already have the left field that's not hitting home runs. You're gonna have the right fielder.
Well, they don't have a shortstop bat, a second base bat, or a catcher bat either.
Here's the thing: they had the 29th. They had the 29th weighted runs created plus in 2023. If they added Michael A. Taylor, they might be 28th. I mean, he's probably the fifth best hitter on the team if they added him. And his batting run value was a -10 last year. So, yeah. No, I get your point that maybe it's just a center field glove. Beef Loaf makes a great point and appreciate Beef. Happy early 108 day. Smash the like button, 13 likes, and 53 people watching. So it's very easy. It's free. We appreciate you guys if you hit the thumbs up button. I know Baloney just did. So hit the thumbs up button if you are commenting and hanging out with us. Let's take another break, and then we'll finish out the rest of these questions from our diehards. Want to let you know about our friends over at Game Time. Maybe you're looking for something to do this weekend. If you have been frustrated with ticket buying experience before, maybe using different sites, Game Time is the best place to go pick up tickets for a sporting event, a concert, a music event, anything that is in your area. They have last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seats, and a best price guarantee. They take the guesswork out of buying tickets. Herb saw this when he went down to Atlanta. He got tickets to a Braves game, then saw later on in the day that there was cheaper tickets on a different site in the same section. He reached out to Game Time, and within 12 minutes, he had 110% of the Game Time guarantee in his account. There you go. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHGO for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHGO for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guarantee. It's a good time, as always, to go see Connor Bedard in his rookie year. Maybe you want to drive up to Wisconsin and go see the final Bears game of 2023 or the 2023 season. So go check out our friends over at Game Time if you are looking to head out to an event, and use code CHGO when you sign up for your first purchase.
Everybody who watches knows our wonderful set decorations. They know the Southpaw Classic White Sox orange flag bobblehead. They know Tim Anderson waiting for a red line train bobblehead. Those come from FOCO. And guys, you can go to FOCO and get fitted out in the best sports gear around. You can get hoodies, you can get shoes, you can get signs, you can get bobbleheads like that one Sean's holding, and everything in between.
Intricate design.
Even though it's cold outside, it's always baseball season. Gear up for the upcoming season. Gear up for opening day. Aloha shirts, straw hats, polos, bags. Herb, are you geared up for playing bags in the parking lot at the rate on March whatever it is
28th.
When it's going to be snowing?
I am. I'm going to have my gloves. I'm going to go to FOCO and get me some bags.
Snow bags.
Is opening day at?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
That's when Jason Benetti comes back with his tiger.
Oh, God.
You've seen the set decorations. You know that FOCO has donated these awesome set pieces. So show them some love. Check out FOCO.com or click the link in the description below. For all non-presale items, use the promo code CHGO10 for 10% off.
And Tariq Skubal, probably.
Google.
He's getting that opening day start?
I love that guy. There was a top 50 list that was out, and he was like 14th. I was like, God damn.
Top 50 what?
MLB starting pitchers.
Tariq Skubal was number 14 best pitcher in baseball.
I think it was 14. It was something really ridiculous.
That
I was
seems
like,
high.
Tariq Skubal? All right, cool.
Seems high.
I mean, he was pretty good when he did come back last year, but
102 strikeouts in 80 innings, a 2.80 ERA.
yeah, he was pretty damn good. But whatever.
Seems high.
Yeah. I mean,
I think he was in front of Dylan Cease, who was the 20th.
okay. Whoever made that list.
It was MLB nerds.
Oh, okay. Herb, maybe you should just.
They're nerds, Sean.
They're not nerds. They're 18-year-olds.
Nerds.
They're stupid. Okay. And Nady, if the Sox signed Matt Chapman, I think it'd be worth an emergency podcast. Again, just like Cody Bellinger, I'd be comatose, dead, and I would be unresponsive to do an emergency podcast. There's no way that they sign anyone over $10 million a year.
That would make no sense. Like you've seen what their offseason's been, and it's been all these low minor league and major league signings. So yeah, going from that to Cody Bellinger and or Matt Chapman, and even Teoscar Hernandez wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't.
Right.
Those are not congruent.
Just it's you don't have enough tickets at the Chuck E. Cheese to get the big ticket item. All right. Do we feel like we answered Jared's question enough here?
We certainly talked about it a lot. Yes.
I mean, it's very odd that just they have not made any signing that's even just a bat only, right? Like it's just.
I don't necessarily think that that's odd. The thing that I find odd is that they haven't done anything yet that benefits them past this year. They're signing all these guys who, like we've explained, don't do much for them offensively. Okay, fine. You want to get better at defense, get better at defense. But like, they're not doing anything. If they're not going to compete in 2024, you're not like handcuffed and you can't make any moves for 25 until next offseason. Do something that's going to benefit you 2 years down the road. Do something that's going to benefit you 3 years down the road. Because otherwise, this is just a bunch of placeholding, water treading, time killing, and you might as well just bring up Popeye Rodriguez, right?
I mean, finally figure out if Lenid Sosa or Jose Rodriguez can play. He got the runway too. All right, let's go to Jared's other question because he is in the chat. I don't know if this one makes sense in the best way. There's a second Jared question, I think. What is the worst offer Get should accept for Cease?
I think I know what he's saying.
Right, but like
I got to answer for him. I think it's equivalent to what the Yu Darvish trade was for the Cubs to the Padres. Yes, Owen Casey now is coming up and eventually will be a Cub, but a bunch of lottery tickets type of thing where you're just betting on these young players to come up eventually, that would be the worst part of Cease trade. I think if you trade Cease, first you got to get a pitcher, and most of these players coming back have to be MLB ready because we've already discussed they're not looking for a long rebuild. They're looking for a quick turnaround. So they all have to be pretty much MLB ready or, if not already, MLB players.
But Darvish is a completely different guy because he had a contract, a 4-year contract still left.
And was making an awful lot of money, too.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing.
He was over 125.
What'd you say?
He was over 125 million.
Yeah, right. And so
years,
it's an entirely different deal. I get what you're saying, Herb, in that you're looking at the timeline, maybe more of it than anything. But I think the Cubs had to settle for that return package because San Diego's acquiring all that money. And now the team acquiring Dylan Cease and the money are that's a good thing to acquire that money because it's such a relatively small amount for what you're going to get. So I think certainly Chris Getz should be expected to get more than what the Cubs got for Yu Darvish for that reason alone. And then on top of it, Dylan Cease, pretty good pitcher.
Well, and like they're not going to get the reported package from the Reds, but that's because that price is quote unquote high. They're going to settle, but I don't think settling's a bad thing because settling just means it's more of a reasonable and agreeable term. Like, I don't think that there's going to be a bad offer for Dylan Cease because we have seen the price that people are paying for pitching. Lucas Giolito got $4 million than he was expected to. Chris Sale, who just pitched 102 innings, got traded for Vaughn Grissom, a 22-year-old bat who, hey, doesn't have that much promise defensively, but I'd like him to play second base for the White Sox. He could play right field for the White Sox. And they defer money and then give Sale an extension. Like, the price for pitching is insane. So the only thing that I think Jared is concerned about is what if Dylan Cease gets hurt and they can't maximize the potential.
That
and that's
blows
just,
everything up.
That's just
Yeah, right.
anxiety.
Yeah, right.
That's just unfortunately that could happen, and that's the thing with dealing with baseball and ways athlete happens, but also they could trade him before the offseason happens, offseason starts, before he even throws a pitch, and that outcome won't happen. So I don't think the worst outcome for the White Sox is bad in any way, because Dylan Cease is not going to be marked down 50% off at any point unless something tragic happens with his career, and God forbid nothing ever happens like that.
You said they might settle, but do you really think they're going to settle for a deal that the other team is willing to part with, or just hold on to Dylan Cease until they need to get rid of him?
What?
Like you said, the White Sox are going to settle for a deal that's for Dylan Cease. I think they're not going to settle for a deal. I think they're going to hold on to Dylan until they actually have to trade him. And even if that means in 2025 in the offseason there.
I mean settle as in like the reported package from the Reds was like 3 top 100 prospects plus. Maybe it's 2 top 100 prospects and then like 3 lottery tickets, as you were kind of saying with the Yu Darvish thing. Like, younger 19-year-olds, 18-year-olds that like they're really not sure where they stand in the system, but have potential just because of their age. Like there could be 3 of those players that are added on. So like
I'll be very disappointed if they did that.
If they got 2 top 100 prospects,
and I think
no, not that, but the extra that is there, because they value Dylan at a number, at a price. Stay at your price. You don't have to get rid of him. There's no impetus to get rid of Dylan Cease. The price is gonna, it's just gonna go up.
I'm just going based.
Eventually.
I'm going based off of what Jeff Passan reported and what we talked about yesterday. That it is likely that he'll get traded before the offseason. So if they are going to trade him before the offseason, they have to, I think, come down from that price.
My thought on this would be that Jared's updated question there, in which he asks, what's the lowest counter he wouldn't get destroyed for accepting. That's really the key here, is the expectations. You just described a return package in which the White Sox get 2 top 100 prospects, right, and Herb said he would be upset about it. And I think that White Sox fans have heard all the trade rumors and heard how much Dylan Cease is worth and talked this all up in their head, not wrongfully, but they just have done that now the expectation is high. And while I keep going, guys, go ahead and look back at Chris Sale. Right. What Chris Sale got in that trade, if Chris Getz got the equivalent of the package Rick Hahn got for the Chris Sale trade for Dylan Cease, I would think that would be a really good job well done. Yeah, I think Herb, though, I think you and a lot of White Sox fans would, at this point, not be thrilled by that.
But that's the minor league pitcher of the year for the Red Sox in Michael Kopech, and a top bat in Yoan Moncada.
Those are 2 top 100 prospects.
But those people were top 100 people.
Right, but if they trade with the Orioles and get 2 of their top 3 prospects, they're getting top.
I understand that. But
Even if they're not getting 2 instead of 3, but they're getting the top. That's a good thing.
But they asked for the 2, 3, 4, and 6 from the Reds, right? If they downshift to just the 2 and the 6, I'll be like, ugh, you're settling. You don't need. There's no need.
And this is my point. This is my point.
You don't need to settle for it.
But here's the thing:
if you want to get a deal done, yes, because that's an egregious price to be offered.
But it's not a thing that you have to do. Like there's no urgency to trade Dylan Cease. There's nothing on the table that says we have to trade him this offseason or else.
When they traded Chris Sale, he had 3 years of control left.
He did.
And he, not to knock Dylan Cease in any way, because he's a very fantastic pitcher, Chris Sale was a better pitcher then than Dylan Cease is now.
Correct.
Right?
Yes, absolutely.
Very correct.
So why would you expect them to get more for 2 years of Dylan Cease than they did for 3 years of Chris Sale?
Well, a little bit different. I think that pitching, an importance of pitching has been, like the difference of how important pitching was seen in 2016 is vastly different post-pandemic and now in 2023. I mean, we weren't seeing contracts of 10 years for Garrett Cole and 12 years for Yamamoto at all. Like, I don't think that pitching ever had a price that it did now. So I think, like, the way that pitching is viewed is way more important in the landscape of baseball than when the Chris Sale trade was done. Because you're absolutely right. We went over the stats yesterday. I mean, Chris Sale had a sub-3 ERA and, like, 5 straight top 5, top 6 Cy Young finishes.
And he won them the World Series 2 years later.
Right. Mm-hmm. So I don't know, because, like, it depends on the team that you're dealing with too.
Yeah.
I mean, if you get two top 100 prospects from the Orioles and 3 from the Reds have a worse farm system.
Yes.
That doesn't mean you actually got a better package.
Exactly.
Like it's all dependent on the package, and we can look back at the Chris Sale trade, and it could have been either Rafael Devers or Yohan Moncada. Like we don't know what players are actually being offered. We later found out the White Sox had an interest in Ryan Pepiot, and maybe that's going to hurt the ability for the Dodgers to go out and get a player like Dylan Cease. So maybe we have to change our expectations. But like right now, before the offseason, the price might be 3 top 100 prospects, but like no one's going to be able to give that up in May or wanting to give that up in May. But then it will skyrocket back up in July when it comes trade deadline. Yeah. So like I get your point, but I really don't think that Chris Sale can make a bad trade in this position.
Chris Getz, I got you.
You said talk a lot about this.
I got you.
A lot of Chris's.
I did it yesterday.
I don't think Chris Getz is in a position with this player to make a bad move.
And I think you could be right, but I think simultaneously you could see a world now, just because of the way the conversation has gone, where what Herb just showed could be the case. It's possible White Sox fans might not be happy with anything that he could get, unless it is, I should say this, happy with what the actual realistic get ends up being, right?
Yeah.
It's just possible. And we'll see how it plays out, if it plays out. But I think right now the expectations are driving the answer to Jared's question more than the actual trade market.
And I just think my main point is that to trade a player like Dylan Cease, you have to feel like you won the trade, and whatever that means, that you got more value for the player that's going the other way.
Well,
because
they will,
he's not,
but like that's what the point I'm trying to make. Like Dylan Cease will just be Dylan Cease. Like I don't think that there's a way that you can hurt his trade value. So unless Chris Getz is bad at his job, which he could be because he's never done this job before, that's the only way that this happens. Mm-hmm. The only way Chris Getz fumbles this bag is if he sucks at his job. Which you can, I mean, he hasn't proved us either way. We haven't know what Chris Getz teams look like. We don't know what a real Chris Getz trade looks like because that Aaron Bummer one's a real amalgamation of odd things thrown together. But like,
if his trade's like that trade, I don't mind. That was an impressive trade for me, even though all 5 of these players are, they might not work out.
I don't really understand like how Chris Getz can screw this up. I think he's looking for either depth or the cream of the crop like he got with Yohan Moncada and Chris Sale.
Right, but there's the difference in actually screwing it up and screwing it up in the immediate, at least in the eyes of your fan base.
Yeah.
But like, what are the true expectations? Your expectations are 3 top 100 prospects?
No, it's just like with the Yohan Moncada Kopech thing. You knew both of those players were going to be in the major leagues and soon, and you knew they were good players. Like I don't want. Like you were saying, you get the 18, 19-year-olds. You got more development to go.
No, but I said 2 top 100 prospects and 3 18-year-olds. Like I mean, we look at the Juan Soto trade with the Nationals. The Nationals have like the top 5 prospect ranking just because of that trade, just because they acquired James Wood, who was like 18 and like top 10 baseball product.
Yeah, but they got Mackenzie Gore. They got
right
good players immediately that were going to start on the Nationals immediately.
And that's why I said 2 top 100 prospects.
But
plus.
those are like actual good players. Like 2 top 100 prospects, I'm saying like they could be 89 and 99. Like I'm not like those Yohan Moncada Kopech were at the top of the top 100 prospects.
No, I know, but like
type of players.
Again, like what I'm saying is if you make a deal with the Orioles and you get Colton Cowser and Heston Kjerstad, that's 2 top 25 prospects.
Those are better prospects than the Reds would send out.
Right.
Yeah.
And so instead of top, 3 top 100 from the Reds, like the Reds have a worse farm system. Like, it all depends on the trade. It all depends on even the type of players that they're receiving. Are they getting 2 bats that will help them for 145 games each? Are they getting a pitcher? Does that pitcher actually have starting pitching potential, or is he just going to be a guy that washes out and turns into a bullpen arm? Like, there's a ton of questions, but we just don't know what offers actually look like right now besides the one from Cincinnati.
Heston Kjerstad would be great. Right field.
Let's go. He'd play tomorrow. He'd outplay Brett Phillips right there.
Brett Phillips will not be in the major leagues.
All right.
Thank Jesus.
We got a couple more questions here.
All the jokes in Charlotte.
Let's get to them. All First up, Ian asking, is the lack of real movement in free agency down to the unsettling of Bally Sports and RSN deals? So do you guys know much about what's going on? Do you need me to fill you in?
I know.
No, it's not. It's not good. There are a lot of teams out there who don't have as much money to work with as they thought they did, and so I think to a degree the answer to that question is yes. But I think it's very much on a team by team basis, right? We've seen the Minnesota Twins come out and say they're dialing spending back. The Padres are in there, but they're in their own situation with the owner passing away. Obviously they're trying to throttle back because they've throttled up so much in recent years. But hey, the Diamondbacks are a team that had Bally's taken out from under them, and they're spending a lot. Right. Texas Rangers are just won the World Series. They have a Bally's TV issue right now, and they probably are looking to make at least one big pitching signing here before the season is over. So I think you can say, yeah, maybe a little, but look to it on a team-by-team basis because there are teams out there who fall into that category who are spending, and there are teams who fall into that category who are very much not.
And I think people like the Minnesota Twins are using this as a crutch. As Vinny said, Padres are still out there spending, even though they just traded out Juan Soto, but that's 1 year. He had 1 year of deal. They knew they weren't going to pay him, but they're signing multiple closers for some reason, Japanese, Korean closers, and they're going out and signing players. So they're not using that, and he just said, the Diamondbacks are signing players, and so I think teams that are with the Bally Sports Diamond RSN thing are just using this, like the Minnesota Twins, as a crutch. Like, oh no, we didn't get our $50 million from Bally's, so we can't spend this extra money. You have plenty of money. You get, I think, BAMTech gave them all like $150 million a couple years ago.
It was 30.
Yeah, huh?
30.
Yeah. No, the total. I'm saying
each team got $30 million,
but over a total thing. I think each team got like $150 million. It was a lot, or $50 million, one of the two. But they have money. That's the point. Like the Twins are just using this as a crutch to dial it down, and because the elephant in the room, the AL Central sucks.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's team-by-team basis. The teams are the Twins, Braves, Marlins, Tigers, Reds, Cardinals, Brewers, Royals, Angels, Guardians, Rangers, and Rays. You brought up the Rangers and the
D-backs.
D-backs being spenders. The Braves have spent already. They've made all of those crazy extensions, right?
And gave another one to Chris Sale.
Right, and give another one to Chris Sale. They've always been weird because they've mostly spent on their in-house talent. They're never been like a big free agent.
Which is what the White Sox tried to do.
Right, yeah. And they've just done it better.
The players have performed better is what happened. Yeah, right.
Their biggest free agent signing is B.J. Upton for $75.75 or something like that.
Oh, that's more than the White Sox.
Just by $750,000. But the Tigers, Cardinals, and Royals, I think have shown you at least how the smaller market teams are affected by this because they've been very concise with their moves, and they've been the ones that have been very active. I think they know their budget because of the lack of money that's coming in. So we saw the Cardinals jump out and go make those signings for all those starting pitchers, jumping the market for Sonny Gray. We saw the Royals. We're like, why the hell are the Royals doing all this? Well, they actually just had their offseason condensed because they just wanted to work under a certain budget.
They actually did stuff which other teams have not done yet.
Right. The Brewers are usually not spending. And I mean, after the pandemic, their owner said that they were broke and didn't make any money, even though they've attendance the White Sox for the past 20 years. The Brewers are weird, and they seem like they're just rebuilding. And the Rays never spend money anyways, so it's like
weird.
It's not affecting the Dodgers. It's not affecting the way the Cubs operate, even though the Cubs should be spending more.
But those are two different situations. Dodgers got their own network, and they're making
Cubs
a lot of money.
Right. I mean, Cubs do, Yankees do, Mets do. I mean, like
White Sox should.
I don't know about that.
What do you mean? Make more money.
You want a White Sox network?
White Sox Bulls network, it'll work out perfectly.
Just Air Jordan stuff the whole time. So yeah, I mean, I don't think it's affecting free agency too much. I think that it's more influx of guys with deadlines like Imanaga, Yamamoto. Like I think the increase of international players with deadlines has also affected the flow of the offseason.
And two of those guys, one of them not being an international player this year, Shohei Ohtani, demanding such a gigantic contract. I mean, if you're the Cubs, right, and you want Ohtani, you've got a budget, whether you have all the money in the world or not, you got a budget. And so they're going to say, well, if we get him, it's going to be a very different offseason to if we don't kind of thing. So you do have to wait until he's made his decision.
Juan Soto's a free agent next year too, so that could be a lot of money spent as well. So maybe some teams are saving up for that. Thank you, Peyton, also for this $5 super chat. Just throwing $5 to my favorite Sox podcast. We appreciate you, Peyton, and hopefully for your dad's sake, the Sox sign Whit Merrifield. We'll bring him an emergency podcast.
The weird thing, didn't we start off, and I started off with I would suck to have Whit Merrifield in the White Sox?
Better than Brett Phillips.
I'm kind of warming up to Whit Merrifield, even though he's he's a major league player that you know that he'll do well. He won't be great. He'll be all right.
He's 36. I don't know about that.
That's fine.
He's the same age as Tommy Pham.
He's better than every single player that they've signed already or traded for.
That's not a good thing, though. And also, Eric Fetty's better than Whit Merrifield.
Will he be?
Yes.
Okay.
I will say that. That's my opinion.
That's
I
fine.
mean, I might agree with you, but I don't. The major league stats speak for themselves.
What has Whit Merrifield done in KBO? Has he won a Cy Young? No.
Or the MVP? No.
All right.
Sorry, Whit.
Thank you, Peyton. One more final question. I see AJ in the chat, so let's get to AJ's question. It's Baseball Kid throwing in, what would your ideal SoxFest look like? What panel/experience would you want? Fingers crossed for a Big Hurt-themed indoor roller coaster sponsored by Nugenics. Thank you, AJ, for being a diehard and for sending in another descriptive question, as always. Before we jump into this, something that we haven't talked about on the podcast, for season ticket holders, on January 26th from 6 to 9 p.m., the Sox are holding an event for season ticket holders at the Field Museum, which will include...
You have to be invited. Don't show up.
Right, yeah. Well, I think you get an invite if you're a season ticket holder.
Right.
But you get to walk around the museum, experience... what's it called? Attractions? Exhibits.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's the word. And you get to hang out with current White Sox players and coaches, apparently, reportedly.
How about former White Sox players? Because I've seen somebody in the Twitter put...
Ron Kittle's always there.
Put that Carl Everett would be there and looking at Sue and like, nope, I don't believe in you. No, you're fake. But yeah.
Carl Everett's like going under the velvet ropes, like going up close to the bones. Like, is this real?
No, absolutely not.
This has to be plaster.
But yeah, it's a good thing that they're reaching out, at least at the very minimum, to their season ticket holders. Now, me as a person that worked in the media for The Score, and when we used to do SoxFest, I'm not that guy. I'm a fan, but I'm not that fan. Seeking autographs, seeing players. I don't know why. I just don't like that. It's just not my thing. I know White Sox fans who do love that. So I don't, it's not my biggest thing, but I think it would be a good thing for them to do this season ticket holder thing, dip their toe, see how the temperature is with the season ticket holders, the people who are actually bought into the team. And then next year, if this goes well, open SoxFest back up, because there are a lot of people clamoring for it. So my ideal SoxFest would be sending all your best players of all time, having Paul Konerko back, having Frank Thomas back, having Mark Burley back in the building, remind them of why they're White Sox fans, Carlton Fisk, etc., and just having them all weekend long. You don't have to have Chris Getz speak. You don't have to have Jerry Reinsdorf speak. Just have a fun-filled SoxFest where they not think about the team. They think about the good memories they've had at Guaranteed Rate and with the White Sox. So that would be my thing if they were a SoxFest next year.
I really like that, Herb.
Yeah.
That was nice. Just like everyone have a good time.
Sarah's inspired, Herb.
Yeah, it was that was inspiring.
Because we need some positivity, and it's tough. It hasn't been positive for a minute.
I mean, no. I'm with you. I'm not a big crowd person, so I'm not clamoring for, hey, let's get 5,000 people in a closed indoor place in January. That doesn't sound like just fun to me. I worked Cubs convention with The Score.
Ugh. No, thank you.
I know I wouldn't want to go back. So I don't know. It's tough for me to be like, oh, they should do X or Y. But Sox on the Beach sounds fun. I can't lie. From Peyton, Beefloaf saying Sox prom.
So what, on Oak Street? Or I guess 31st Street probably got to be down on the south side. 31st Street Beach in late January. That sounds fun, doesn't it?
The Cultural Center over on South Shore.
South Shore Beach.
That's
supposed to be very nice.
Oh, it's a lovely place.
That's on my to-do list for the summer.
I would highly recommend that place.
Right.
Have you
guys gone to the Promontory Point?
Yes.
Awesome.
No.
Yeah.
Where's that?
On the south side.
Is that is that like where you walk out?
Yeah.
Good view.
And then you look back into the city and see the buildings. Oh, beautiful.
It's over off of Jackson Park, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Matt say the Field Museum sounds like some kind of joke.
The whole museum? Or the event?
It's
the
Carl
museum
Everett.
exists, I'm telling you.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like the Field Museum better than, like, I don't know.
What about the Shed Aquarium?
I mean, Shed is,
feel like
for
that'd
me,
be-
the number one.
Yeah. That'd be fun.
It's undefeated.
I don't know. It's just like, do you want to go to Art Institute too? It's just like, what is it? Why does it have to be Sox themed? Maybe just
Why
go
does
to
what have to be Sox themed?
well, like going to the Field Museum.
Oh, you could just go to the Field Museum whenever.
Right. No, I think that's what that would
Like
like
free?
interest me more.
Yeah,
I think.
they've got a lot of free days. Yeah.
City. Still haven't gone, Vinny.
You should.
I think it's the only major museum. Nope. I haven't been to the, what's the one? The Art Institute with the
You haven't
lions?
been to the Art
with you?
Institute.
No
Come on,
way.
Herb.
Not an art guy, but I guess
How
I
do you
got
know?
it.
You've never been.
I'm just not an
They
art
had
guy.
a gorgeous Van Gogh exhibit
I'm s-
and a Monet exhibit last summer.
Come on,
Breathe
Herb.
from my head.
What?
That's not. I love the Museum of Science and Industry. It's my favorite, besides the Shed Aquarium. And I'll go down the south side to watch that.
You haven't done the Art Institute?
I haven't done that or the Field Museum
Make
yet.
a point, Herb.
that-
You
that
could
should-
go for free.
We should.
I don't-
Well,
on
we should
Tuesday.
make a video. We should have somebody come
should be
videotape
Ferris
it.
Bueller
Yeah,
style?
I'm saying,
Yeah.
could I get the Red Wings jersey?
Herb could be Cam. All right. I think that'll do it. B-Flow saying, as a season ticket holder, these season ticket holders are usually really good. Booze, not a ton of people, easy access to players and coaches. So, I mean, at least it's definitely a cooler event space than McCormick Place.
Yeah, that is
so,
absolutely true. Yes.
You know, I mean,
Big
maybe
empty warehouse room. Yeah.
maybe they'll test this out and see the validity of it, and maybe hey, this is the season ticket holder event that they continue to do, and maybe if they like the way that this rolls out, they'll continue to do more fan events for SoxFest because I know a lot of people want it back.
Jim says the planetarium. I wasn't
I
that
haven't gone to
impressed
that
with the
one.
planetarium.
Herb, stop just crushing all museums.
I haven't gone to
Museums
the
are great.
planetarium.
Like I'm in that
Go to
area.
all of
I'm
them.
just gonna go to the Shed Aquarium. I'm like, sorry, planetariums.
You
The
could
Shed
go to
Aquarium's
both.
right there.
You could go to both.
I know.
You don't have to pick
I've
one.
already been to the planetarium. I was like,
Expand your
ugh.
horizons.
It's like I get it. The telescope, yes. Earth and space, great.
You guys want to do
Enjoy
that tomorrow? Definitive ranking of Chicago museums.
They're all number one in my heart.
Oh boy! All right, go support the arts. Go
You guys have
support.
been to all of them?
Most of them.
I haven't done planetarium.
Okay,
That's the one I
not
haven't
that
done.
great.
I heard it from you. I'd like to go experience it myself.
Nope. Skip it.
Yeah. Soldier Field, I don't think counts as a museum.
No, it's
over.
right there.
It's right there. Yeah, I know. All right. That's going to do it for the CHGO White Sox podcast. I think we still have over 50 people watching. We got 60 people watching. We really appreciate that. That's really sweet of you guys for tuning into this team that just signed Brett Phillips to a minor league contract and Chad Kuhl to a minor league contract. Hit that thumbs up button if you would be even sweeter. Those 60 people watching, we got 25. It's a good Jim Thome number, but it'd be nice to even hit maybe John Danks. Maybe it's a little bit too rich for my blood, but hitting 50 would be real
55?
sweet.
Or he's 50.
I think
50,
he's 50.
yeah.
What about Danks?
What about Danks? That's Vinnie Duber. You can follow him at Vinnie Duber. He's our CHGO White Sox beat writer. That's Herb Lawrence. You can follow him at Ecknerwall23. He's our CHGO White Sox community leader. And Peyton bringing up the Mascot Hall of Fame in Whiting, Indiana. I know that's a place Vinnie would love.
Oh, boy.
He can name like every MLB
My guy
mascot.
Bird Zirk would be there.
Bird Zirk.
I love Bird Zirk.
Who's
Yeah.
Bird Zirk?
Oh, talk about needing to
King-
expand your horizons.
Tomorrow?
Kane County Cougars, Bird Zirk.
Boy. All right.
Myra Noodleman?
Oh my God, all of them.
I'm Sean Anderson. You can follow me at Sean_W_Anderson. We will thank you to Sarah for producing, and we'll talk to you tomorrow at 3:30. Goodbye.
We all silly like the mayor.